All right, everybody, here's part three. This part is ego versus identity. Now, if you remember to my last video, I said how limiting beliefs do affect you and they affect the roles you play. Well, this is where we get to the meat and potatoes of that. It's very critical that you are self-aware of this, because once you become self-aware, then you go, ugh. Okay, so I've been the one keeping myself here, because we identify with those roles and we do it subconsciously. So what you got to do is you got to figure out what roles you play. What did you see growing up from your caretakers and those around you? In ways, what do you play them out in your life? Okay, maybe write those down. And then you got to figure out what roles don't serve you, and which ones you'd like to release, because the reason being is that you get to replace them with more empowering ones. And I'll get to all this in a minute, and you'll see why it'll start to make sense. But it's very, very imperative. This is I feel this is the second most important layer here. And you got to also figure out what roles serve you and that you would like to continue in your life. Okay. For example, let's do a little reflection of, okay, who am I? Most of us say I'm a mom or I'm a dad. Those don't really define you, okay? And a common reason that many people resist or avoid change, even if it improves their life, is because the issue they're trying to address has become interwoven with their self-identity, okay? This is the case especially if it's painful, okay? Trauma, things like that. So definitely this helps a lot in recovery and things like that. It becomes part of your story and what's gone wrong and what's been done to you and how you've been hurt, so much so that you think that's who you are. Okay. Well, if you notice how part of you resists to letting go things that make you unhappy, and the compulsion you have to think about it and talk about it all the time. It's funny how you get a particular pleasure out of your pain, because think about this: if you can't change the situation out, there's no sense in keep reiterating the problem, because you're going to identify with it subconsciously. Just like if you hate your job, but you believe but you're someone who never likes a job, never likes what they do for a living, so to speak. You may find it difficult to find a new job, or you might just give up the belief that you're someone who doesn't like to work, or if you're mistreated or abused by a significant other, especially, that you're always a victim. You know what I'm saying? Because it happens in every relationship. Well, think about this: everything you watch, every kind of music you listen to, it all plays a role in this. Okay. And so you might find it, difficult to remove yourself from a relationship if it's toxic, because especially like, if you watch a lot of shows that include toxicity, toxic relationships, you'll see that in your relationship if you stop and think about it. You'd have to give up your belief that you were a victim. So it's easier to keep the pain than it is to get rid of it sometimes. So you got to think about that, and then so ask yourself, in what ways do you consider a problem to be part of your identity once you become self-aware? Do you talk about it a lot? Do you get attention because of it, or does it give you a sense of purpose? That's how you figure out if it's your pain's part of your identity, because you are not what you do for a living. You're not your past. You are not what others think of you. You're not what you have, and you're definitely not your problems. Okay. So if you find problems in pain or the other things that discontent with that part of your identity, ask yourself, is this who I really want to be? Okay. There's three detrimental identities: illness, victim, and poverty. Okay. Illness obviously is think you're sick. Victim is, the trauma roles. Or poverty, you're always poor, never can have enough money, and you never, there's enough money for everybody in this world. So, go get it. Go get you something. So you got to think about these three real hard, and then figure out what positive identity you can replace it with. And there's 5 of those. There's 5 success identities. It's grateful, engaged, forgiving, contributing, and purposeful. So if you can align yourself with any of those 5, you're going to be good. That's how you identify your creation. And the ego wants to hold on to all this stuff, because all the bad stuff, because it's been so aligned with it. So just remember that, okay? Ego versus identity. You're not just a mom or a dad. That's not really who you are, but it's part of you. But because everything's stored up here, so you tend to forget things. So take those ones out that you don't like. Say, everybody says, "Oh man, I just sounded like my dad or my mom there, and I never wanted to do that." Or you find yourself doing the same things with your kids, or that your parents did, because you seek those roles out, because subconsciously you identify with them and they do affect you. So you take the ones that that, like all the ones that cause pain and that you keep holding on to, and why you're not happy, get rid of those and replace them with gratitude. Uh, Replace them with forgiving. Be engaged, be contributing and purposeful. If you don't know your purpose, we can help you there too. So I hope this helps. Be ready for part 4. It's coming soon. All this is going to really start tying together. Now you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not what happened to me, and it shouldn't have happened to me, but now I'm the reason why I'm still in this mess. And that's a sickening feeling. It's hard to understand. It's hard to hear. But let me tell you what, there's freedom once you realize it, because then you can be like, I don't want this no more. Have a good day. Stay positive. Peace out.